In the shadow of Edinburgh Castle's ancient ramparts, where the Scottish wind carries whispers of history, a modern royal drama unfolded during the 2025 honours ceremony. The event, meant to celebrate Scotland's heroes, became the stage for a calculated power play by Queen Camilla, whose machinations targeted the radiant Duchess of Edinburgh, Sophie. Her scheme, cloaked in the guise of protocol, aimed to strip Sophie of a prestigious role and curb the rising influence of Sophie and her husband, Prince Edward. Yet, in a twist that electrified the nation, Sophie's grace and resolve not only thwarted Camilla's cruelty, but reshaped the monarchy's future, earning her a title that echoed the people's will and a decisive intervention from King Charles III. The ceremony, held on a crisp April evening, was a glittering affair. Edinburgh Castle, perched atop its volcanic crag, glowed under floodlights, its stone walls steeped in centuries of Scottish pride. The honours ceremony, an annual tradition, celebrated contributions to the nation, from scholars to soldiers. This year, the focus was on Scottish veterans, a cause close to Sophie's heart. As Colonel-in-Chief of several regiments, including the Royal Regiment of Scotland, Sophie had spent years championing veterans' welfare, visiting hospitals, and spearheading mental health initiatives. Her warmth and authenticity had made her a beloved figure, often described as the monarchy's quiet powerhouse. Camilla, however, saw Sophie's growing prominence as a threat. Since ascending as Queen Consort in 2022, Camilla had carved out a formidable presence, leveraging her position to shape court dynamics. But 2025 marked a shift. Prince Edward and Sophie, now the Duke and Duchess of Edinburgh, had risen in public esteem. Edward's work in the arts and Sophie's tireless charity efforts, coupled with their unassuming charm, drew comparisons to the late Queen Elizabeth II. Polls in The Scotsman and The Times showed Sophie outranking Camilla in public approval, with 68% of Scots favouring her as a People's Duchess against Camilla's 42%. Camilla's resentment festered. Insiders whispered of her disdain for Sophie's effortless rapport with the public, a stark contrast to Camilla's more polarising image. At Kensington Palace, courtiers noted Camilla's icy demeanour towards Sophie during joint engagements, her smiles thin and her compliments barbed. She calls Sophie the spares wife behind closed doors, a source revealed to the Daily Record. It's a deliberate slight meant to keep her in her place. The honours ceremony offered Camilla the perfect opportunity to strike. As patron of the ceremony, she wielded significant influence over its proceedings. Weeks before, she convened a private meeting with senior palace aides, citing protocol concerns about Sophie's role as the ceremony's keynote speaker. Sophie had been chosen to deliver a tribute to Scottish veterans, a role that would cement her as a leading royal voice in Scotland. Camilla argued that the honour should go to a senior royal of higher precedence, proposing herself instead. She invoked arcane rules from the College of Arms, claiming Sophie's rank as a duchess did not justify such a prominent role. "It's a matter of tradition," she reportedly said, her tone dripping with false piety. Behind the scenes, Camilla's tactics were ruthless. She enlisted allies among conservative courtiers who leaked stories to tabloids suggesting Sophie was overstepping her station. The Sun ran a headline, "Duchess of Drama, Sophie's ambition sparks palace tensions," citing anonymous sources close to Camilla. She also pressured the ceremony's organisers, threatening to withdraw royal patronage if Sophie's role wasn't curtailed. "It was a power grab dressed as protocol," a former aide told The Guardian. Camilla wanted to remind everyone who holds the reins. Sophie, however, was not one to be cowed. Informed of Camilla's manoeuvring just days before the ceremony, she chose not to confront the Queen directly. Instead, she doubled down on her commitment to the veterans. Working late into the night with her team, she crafted a speech that would honour Scotland's heroes while subtly reclaiming her place. She also reached out to veterans groups, ensuring their voices would be central to the event. Sophie didn't play Camilla's game, a close friend told the Scotsman. She focused on what mattered, the people. The night of the ceremony was electric. The castle's great hall brimmed with dignitaries, veterans and royals, the air thick with anticipation. Camilla, resplendent in emerald silk and a diamond tiara, presided with a serene smile, betraying none of her scheming. Sophie, in a sapphire gown that echoed the saltire, exuded quiet confidence. When the moment came for the tribute, Camilla rose, expecting to take the podium. But the Lord Provost, perhaps sensing the undercurrents, introduced Sophie instead, citing her unwavering dedication to Scotland's heroes. The hall erupted in applause, a spontaneous wave that caught Camilla off guard. Her smile froze, her eyes narrowing as Sophie stepped forward. Sophie's speech was a masterclass in grace and power. She spoke of the veterans' sacrifices, weaving personal stories of soldiers she'd met. A young corporal from Glasgow who lost a leg in Afghanistan, a nurse from Dundee who served in Iraq. Her voice, steady yet emotive, carried the weight of genuine empathy. "Scotland's strength lies in its people," she declared, "and its veterans are the heartbeat of our nation." She paused, her gaze sweeping the hall, lingering just long enough on Camilla to convey unspoken defiance. "No title or protocol can dim their light, nor ours." The room exploded in cheers, a standing ovation that lasted nearly a minute. Veterans wept, and even stoic military officers joined the applause. The Scotsman's next morning headline was unequivocal: Duchess Sophie, the monarchy's true queen. The article praised her as a beacon of compassion and strength, noting how her speech eclipsed the pomp of protocol with raw humanity. Social media buzzed with hashtag Sophie for Queen, and posts on X hailed her as the royal we need. Camilla, by contrast, was skewered. Commentators noted her stony silence during the ovation, and a viral clip showed her clutching her programme so tightly it crumpled. Camilla underestimated Sophie, a BBC analyst remarked. She tried to dim a star and got burned. The fallout was swift and seismic. King Charles III, watching the ceremony from Balmoral, was deeply moved by Sophie's triumph. Sources close to the king revealed his growing unease with Camilla's influence, particularly her attempts to sideline other royals. Charles admires Sophie's work ethic and authenticity, a courtier told The Times. He sees her as the future of the monarchy's public face. In a historic move, Charles acted decisively. 2 days after the ceremony, Buckingham Palace announced that Sophie would be granted the prestigious title of Royal Lady of the Order of the Thistle, Scotland's highest chivalric honour. The citation praised her exceptional service to the nation, a clear rebuke to Camilla's protocol ploy. More strikingly, Charles took steps to curb Camilla's power. He issued a royal directive reducing her influence over ceremonial appointments, transferring oversight to a neutral committee. Insiders described it as a quiet coup designed to prevent further palace intrigues. Camilla was said to be furious, retreating to Clarence House for days. She overplayed her hand, a source told the Daily Telegraph. Charles won't tolerate division in his reign. The public response was jubilant. In Edinburgh, crowds gathered outside Holyrood Palace, chanting Sophie's name. The Scotsman published an editorial calling her the monarchy's moral compass, while The Guardian noted that her rise signalled a shift toward a more inclusive, empathetic royal family. On X, posts celebrated her as Scotland's queen in all but name, with memes juxtaposing her radiant smile against Camilla's scowl. Sophie, true to form, remained humble. In a rare public statement, she thanked the veterans and Scots for their support, saying, "I am honoured to serve, not to shine." Yet her actions spoke louder. She announced a new veterans fund in her name, seeded with £1 million from her personal foundation, and planned a series of visits to Scottish communities. The Edinburgh Gambit, as pundits dubbed it, marked a turning point. Camilla's cruelty, born of insecurity, had backfired spectacularly, elevating Sophie to unprecedented heights. King Charles's intervention ensured the monarchy's stability, but it was Sophie's courage and compassion that captured the nation's heart. As the Scottish winds swept through the castle's turrets, they carried a new refrain. The monarchy had found its true queen, not in title, but in spirit.